Hi there, I'm Radio's Garrett Michaels, and today I've been pulled in to do actual video, which is a rare thing for me because it's time for 91X Beer for Breakfast ABV.
Yee.
And today's edition, this week's edition, is kind of a pre-funk. Can we use pre-funk?
I can see why not.
Pre-game, pre-funk for Ye Scallywag, which is happening this weekend at Waterfront Park here in San Diego. We have an incredible lineup of rock and roll. Pennywise is playing this thing. We've got the Vandals. We've got Me First, the Gimme Gimmes. We've got Lagwagon. We've got Strung Out. We've got the Adolescents. We have an amazing local band called Western Settings. And what's really cool is we have beers here that are somewhat affiliated with Ye Scallywag. In the case of this fine beer right here, the No Effects Punkin' Drublick, which is a collab with No Effects and Stone. I bet this idea was hatched last year at Scallywag.
It wasn't.
It wasn't?
It wasn't.
I don't believe you for a second.
So they say.
So
the beer or the festival?
Yes. So let me first introduce everybody. Of course, Danielle from 91X Mornings. And this guy over here, big fan of this guy. This is Cameron. Cameron is the founder and leader and de facto brilliant beer guy behind Brew Ha Ha Productions up in Orange County. Many fine events involving beer and rock and roll. And of course, he is a best way to put it, a partner, I think, in Ye Scallywag and a curator, perhaps.
There you go. I'll take it. That works. Yeah, absolutely.
And so you know a lot about the beers that we're going to be drinking this weekend. Mm-hmm. And some of these beers are collab beers with bands that are playing, like, for instance, this one from Pennywise, the Pennywiser. This fine beer here from Amplified is a beer they've worked up with Western Settings. Mm-hmm. Of course, Sublime's AleSmith collab is here. We have the delicious Deftones Phantom Bride from Belching Beaver. So we're going to get into all these beers because they're going to be featured at Ye Scallywag this weekend.
Yep.
So if we're doing this the right way, we should probably start out in some kind of proper order, correct?
I think so. I think we start with the Mexican lager.
Okay.
Perfect.
So Danielle's already poured some for us here.
I can't ever wait. You guys take so long.
No,
to
you
do
did
the
it.
intro.
You did it right.
all the
So
stuff.
first of all, is this not like a cool can or what? I love this can.
It's great.
I love this logo. This came out in June?
Yeah, it
Right?
came out in June. Mm-hmm.
And this will be available. I'm sure AleSmith will be pouring this in the sampling, right?
Yeah, they'll be pouring it. It'll be available at the craft beer bar. So there's Cranky Cameron's Craft Beer Bar. You can head over there.
Are you the guy who runs that?
Yeah, you know, yeah, Cranky Cameron, that would be me.
Right on.
So.
All right. Let's get into it. Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers.
I really like this beer, man. This is easy drinking.
They did a very good job with it. Very good job with it.
I remember having this earlier this summer and thinking, man, this is like the perfect San Diego, Southern California beer. It's so easy drinking. Obviously available now in cans, so you can take it to the beach anywhere you go.
Totally.
But a great, I think, representation of the style. And, you know, quite honestly, a lot of people love the Mexican lagers.
Totally.
But what if you made it a craft Mexican lager? And I think they accomplished that.
Absolutely. This was at Beer X as well, and we blew through it. We had it in the craft beer bar, blew through it. We had it at the tasting tent, blew through it. So we actually wanted a lot more at Beer X, and we just weren't able to get it at the time because the demand was so high. So we're going to have plenty of it at Scallywag. So we're good.
So if you've missed your chance to have this beer, plenty of opportunities to drink it in the proper setting at Waterfront Park for Ye Scallywag.
Yeah, it was cool. We talked to Bud Ga about this, and they were trying to figure out what kind of beer they wanted. He was just like talking about when they would go down to Baja and they'd be on the beach and they're drinking, you know, Mexican beers, and that's what he really wanted. And it's really cool seeing what kind of doors this is opening for other beer drinkers because it's not super hoppy, but it's really crisp, has a lot of flavor behind it.
Totally. I love that, and I think that's one of the cool things that you're seeing right now in the craft beer movement. Is you're seeing them start to come in with more approachable beers like this, a Mexican lager. That was a big thing for us with the Punkin' Drublick too.
Yeah.
Going with something approachable, a good festival beer, something that people can, you know, put a few down and they're not going to be walking sideways. But it's a good introduction beer, and it shows people, you know, that maybe aren't ready to drink a double IPA or a sour, but there is craft options for you.
Yep.
And here's some really great ones, great examples of it. So it's great.
So next in line, you'd say this one?
Let's go. Let's do it.
Let's go. All right. So I love this beer. We first had this when we did ABV up at Stone.
Yes.
Steve Wagner from Stone Brewing was so kind to let us get a sneak taste of this before it was out. So this is the Stone Brewing No Effects Punk and Drublet collab.
Yep.
Now you were there when they brewed this, right?
Oh yeah.
Tell us about this a little bit.
So, after many meetings and many discussions of, one was Stone going to allow Fat Mike to even come into the brewery because this is a big deal, for them because who knows what could happen.
Right.
But so they decided first and foremost, yes, we're willing to let him come to the brewery. But no, we had some conversations about the beers, and when we originally talked about it, we were going to do an IPA, and Mike said, "I like IPAs, but I don't feel like I want to drink an IPA at a punk festival. So can we do something else?" And we're like, yeah, okay. And so I was on the phone afterwards with Jeremy Moynier over there at Stone saying, so listen, so Mike tells us, I want it to be, that skunky flavor that you get at the end of like a Heineken or a Beck's? How do we do that? I'm like, no, that's not what no. We're talking like some of the best brewers in the country right now.
Yeah,
like, don't, no.
Right.
But anyway, and so Jeremy and I talked afterwards. I said, why don't we do an IPL or maybe even just do like a hoppy lager of some sort? And Jeremy's like, I love it. So they did a couple pilot batches, went down, tasted it, loved it, mailed some up to Fat Mike. He loved it.
Down with it.
And and so it's been cool. It's a cool beer. Huel melon hops, little Magnum like Stone puts in all their beers.
Yeah.
But it's been awesome.
Yeah.
Really well received.
I loved the photos also because Fat Mike was in the pink boots.
Yep.
And I will say this, Laura Ulrich from Stone, who was with you guys, was very disappointed, Fat Mike, that you did not take the boots with you. So if Fat Mike gets pink boots in his face later up, that's what it's from.
He wanted
Laura
them.
Throwing boots at him.
Oh.
It
was on accident, I'm sure, because he asked if he could take them.
Well, let's get into this, man, because I'm dying to drink
Cheers
this.
again.
Cheers. Right off the bat, I love the aroma of this beer, man. I mean, this is like got everything I love about an easy drinking beer that's got a hop profile. I mean, obviously hoppy pilsners have become a thing in craft beer.
Yep.
This hoppy lager, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
And you can taste like that Huel melon. That's a German hop, and it is called Huel melon because you get some really nice melon flavors, and it's perfect for, like I said, being out at a festival or if you're out, summer beer, being out by the pool, doing whatever. It's a backyard beer.
Yes.
It's perfect.
Yeah. Actually, both these
Both
are
of
total
them are,
backyard.
totally.
Yeah. Lawnmower beer.
There you go, lawnmower.
If you have a lawn to mow.
A hiking beer. Don't get too dehydrated as you're drinking your beer on a hike.
Man, this is one of those I just want to chug.
I just did.
It's so refreshing. And
Shotguns.
That's how you're supposed to do it.
I know. That's probably why Fat Mike liked it so much for a punk rock show, right?
Exactly.
So once again, this will be available. I'm sure Stone will have this on sample, but it'll be available in Cranky
concessions.
Cameron's craft beer bar of death.
It will be. Absolutely.
Right?
Yep.
All right.
Tasty.
Next in line, do we go with the Pennywiser?
I think we go with the Pennywiser.
All right, Pennywiser. Here we go. It's a good thing I brought extra glasses, huh?
I know, look at you, so prepared.
I'm on it today, man.
Can I borrow these in the future? Because we just use the same glass every time.
Yeah, you can do that. That's fine.
It's like you've done this before.
These are my tasting glasses.
Thank you.
I don't know, I was thinking that might be a short pour for you, but So
I'll be all right.
let's talk about the Pennywiser. We've heard a lot about this beer, obviously.
Yep.
I have not had this one yet. This is the first time I've actually seen the bombers of it. So tell us a little about this and how it came to be.
Well, it's actually only available in bombers. So they just released some sixtels that are going to be released, but limited run. It's primarily going to be available just in the 22-ounce bomber.
Okay.
The beer was a beer that Lost Coast collaborated with Pennywise on. Lost Coast reached out to Pennywise, told them that they wanted to do a beer with them, and Pennywise was like, really? Well, I heard No Effects just did one, so maybe we should. Just kidding. That's not what happened. No, but so they
a little competition.
No, it's all good. But anyway, so they did this beer, and I think it's the similar kind of mission. They wanted it to be a lower alcohol beer, something that you could drink a lot of and not just be trashed. And so, I mean, the alcohol on this is what, 4?
It's like under 5.
4.8.
Yeah, 4.8%.
Okay.
But it's a super clean beer, super solid. It's got a nice, aroma to it. Good hop balance on it. Like,
So this is technically they're considering this a session IPA.
Yes, officially a session IPA.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
I don't think they knew when they first brewed it what it was going to be, but
Really? Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it ended up a session IPA.
All right, let's try this. Here we go.
Yeah.
Yes,
Cheers,
Lauren.
man.
Cheers.
Right on.
I get citrus on the nose on it big time. A little lemon.
Oh,
wow.
That,
Dude.
yeah.
That's good, right?
Dude, this is the jam.
You can drink that all day.
I could drink this all day and mow a lawn, maybe. Yeah.
Well, and Randy from Pennywise, he called in last week onto the show. We talked to him last Friday, and he was talking about this beer, and the way that he described it made me want to try it so badly.
Yeah.
And like everything he said is right on point with this.
What did he say?
He was saying that what they wanted was basically what you were saying. They wanted a semi-hoppy beer, but not a full-blown on IPA.
Yeah.
They wanted to be able to sessionably drink it when it's hot outside. And like he told me that he had been drinking this brewery's beer for a while, and when this came about, he was like, "Oh, like I love their beer. I'm so down."
Yeah.
So everyone was like really about it. So it's delicious beer.
Yeah. When they played a show that we did earlier this year in Arizona and Phoenix called Brewfest, and we were hanging out afterwards, and they were saying that they were obsessed with IPAs for a while, and then they just kind of got a little burned out on
It
them.
happens.
And you can see, maybe they got a little burned out and they went more to some of the lighter stuff, but you can see that that's what they're trying to achieve with this, was like something that is super mellow that you can drink, but still has that personality and that flavor of an IPA.
Yeah.
I think they nailed it, totally.
They totally nailed it, man. This is great. Now, is this widely available? Because I have not seen this yet.
It's trickling into the market right now. You're seeing it more and more. I'm seeing it more and more in Orange County. I know it's available in San Diego. I know it's available all over the South Bay in LA. So this is going in the lineup for Lost Coast. So
Nice.
What's great is if you haven't had a chance to have this beer yet, like this being my first time, your first time, you're going to be able to get your mouth around this. Definitely Ye Scallywag this weekend.
Yep.
And all of these beers, once again, I got to point out, will be available for you to try. And we have a ridiculous lineup of beers, man. I mean, we've been saying on the radio it's over 150 craft beers, and you and I were chatting before they did the segment.
Right.
It's probably going to be a little higher than that.
it's going to be higher than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the brewery list is incredible this time.
It's an amazing list of breweries.
Yeah.
We've got something different, something special. I mean, that was kind of the thing, I think, when we all talked about doing this originally, was beer festivals. There's a lot of them out there.
Yep.
People are doing them. How can we do it better? And I think bringing this whole deal together, like doing a collaboration of music and beer, and really kind of focusing on the Southern California aspect, especially with these bands here, it's just perfect. I mean, this is really this is San Diego's festival. Like, this is it, right? And
It
all the
feels
bands
like
behind
it.
so.
It feels like it, man.
Yeah.
And once again, all these beers, they sort of have this sort of connection to Southern California. So we've had so far the Sublime AleSmith Mexican Lager, the Pumpkin Drublic Stone No Effects Collab. We've done the Pennywiser, and it's Lost Coast.
Lost Coast.
Got to make sure I get that right.
Eureka.
These are all delicious. Now, what to do? Do we go? We're shifting into IPA land here.
I
So,
know.
should we? This. I'm very curious about this Western Settings beer. That
I am too. Amplified, yeah. They're debuting it at Scallywag.
All right.
We got a little sneak peek of it.
I think we go there. I think that's it.
I think we're going there.
Ooh.
Wow, nice.
This
Getting
is
the
like
Anya?
fresh out of the bright tank, as I understand.
Wow.
Fresh off the bright can.
In
They
a
haven't
crowler.
even in a crowler. So they were saying this
That's
is
a little hazy.
a hazy New England style IPA.
So this is called the Western Settings DIY IPA from Amplified Ale Works. Cool looking crowler. And so I really don't know much about this beer. We were surprised to find out that it was going to be available. Totally stoked. We love Western Settings. They're a killer local band. They're going to fit in so perfectly with the rest of the bands at Ye Scallywag. What a nice surprise that they actually have a beer that they're doing as well. So
Yeah, totally.
Let's
I just
rock it.
found out about it. I'm excited. Let's try it.
all right.
Yeah.
No
Cheers.
cheers? Okay.
Oh,
I was
man.
going to say,
Your
what
aroma
kind of
was-
show is this?
The aroma was coming off the glass, man. And wow. So the hazy IPA thing is really taken off, it seems.
It is. Everybody's doing it.
It seems to be
that's the
more
thing.
like acceptable. I feel like a year ago when these were starting to come out, like some of the breweries are just like, oh, you know, I'm not about that, and it seems.
Well, you're in the land of West Coast IPAs,
Right.
and now everybody's doing these New England style. I mean, I think there was a little resistance, and I think, honestly, the West Coast has perfected that style now. You're seeing some of the stuff, you know, coming out from guys like Noble and, you know, Monkish, like up in LA, like you can't even get your hands on their beer. But they started out as a brewery that was just doing all Belgian style beers, and then they latched onto this, and now it's like that's what they're known for, you know. So yeah, it's become super popular.
This is really nice.
I'm loving it.
I could drink a lot of this too.
Well, the taste doesn't stick with you afterwards. It has a really clean finish. You don't have that like bitterness that kind of sticks around it all, so it just makes you want to keep drinking.
It's pretty mellow, man. I like this. You know, and the other thing about this is you could fool your friends and neighbors that you're drinking something other than beer.
Yeah, it's orange
It's
juice.
pineapple juice.
Or pineapple juice.
Pineapple juice,
Pineapple
cider,
mango,
you know, not alcoholic cider, you know, like the kind you get in the fall and eat with donuts or drink with donuts.
Why do you have neighbors that mind?
I don't.
Where do you live?
Wait.
I don't. I'm just
In a
saying.
retirement community?
I'm just saying that, you know, perhaps somebody out there, if you have that problem, I don't have that problem.
So when you walk into the
Thanks,
studio
though.
in the
Retirement
morning,
community.
when you walk into the studio in the
55
morning,
plus
it's
community, right? Yeah. Yes.
It's juice, I swear.
I will not question it.
It's juice, I swear.
Amplified. Well done. Very nice.
Very
nice.
good. I think the better thing you could do is you could use it in the morning at the office. Just set a bagel next to it.
Yeah.
And
See
just
if
have a
anybody
nice
goes for
big
it.
glass and just be like, I'm drinking juice.
It's good.
Drinking juice.
Don't worry about it, man. Wow. Well, and this is going to be available at Ye Scallywag as well. And so, once again, we have, you know, off the top of my head, we have so many breweries. And once again, the idea was to have a lot of breweries, Southern California, San Diego, outside of California.
Yep.
Some breweries that you don't normally, you know, get here in San Diego all the time. And of course, a larger number of beers, because that means more places to get beer.
Right.
Lines are shorter because there's going to be a lot of people coming out and enjoying the music and enjoying the beer that day.
Yeah, we're not a festival producer that puts on beer events. We're beer geeks that happen to put on festivals.
I like that.
So,
I like
yeah.
that, like that thinking.
Totally. So we're not just like filling space with a bunch of breweries at this event. We've got some of the greatest breweries in the country at this festival because these are beers that we want to drink as people who drink beer and that are into this, you know. And so I think that's why you're seeing such a huge showing. It's gonna be awesome.
Oh, after Scallywag last year, I remember breweries asking me like, "All right, how do I get on Scallywag next year? Like,
Yeah.
how do I get in?" And you know, this whole time, and I'm like, "Hit up Cameron."
When I tell them no, I'm like, Garrett said no, and so sorry.
We'll just keep. We'll just keep.
See,
If you didn't get in.
see, that's completely wrong. Do not let that get out there. You know, I am not the puppet master pulling the strings. The great news is actually some of those breweries, actually most of those breweries that asked you are going to be there this year.
Yeah, shout out to Three Punk Ales. If you haven't tried their beer yet, it's delicious.
Well, you can't think of, I mean,
It only makes sense.
It's a perfect thing for
It's
Three Punk to
perfect.
be out, right? Yeah.
Totally.
All right, so we have one more beer to get into
Yeah.
of the rock and roll collab beers.
We ran out of glasses, so we have to reuse our glass, by the way.
We have one clean one. You want to fight for it?
Cameron, you can have a clean one
You
because I
want the clean
can't
one?
reach your glasses.
All right.
No, all right, whatever you want. I'm just collecting them over here
Collecting
anyway.
them? All right.
It's just more dishes for me to do.
All right,
sure.
so this beer has been around for a bit.
Yep.
And this is a collab that members of the Deftones decided to do with local brewery Belching Beaver, and I think it's rad that a band from, you know, upstate chose a San Diego brewery to collaborate with to make a beer.
Totally.
This is, I believe, also considered a hazy IPA, and I've actually had this a few times. I like this. This is a pretty nice beer. Plus, it's a really rad can. What are you looking at?
The hops that are in it, you've
Yeah.
got all my favorites: Amarillo, Citro, Simcoe, and Mosaic.
Yep.
There you go.
Citra and Mosaic, you're seeing that a lot in these IPAs these days. Gives a lot of that citrus flavor that people are loving. So this, I wasn't aware of it. This is now like in rotation as like a regular beer now for Belching Beaver, which the Deftones are not playing the show, but music, beer, San Diego, it had to be here.
Absolutely.
So,
And people love this beer. You know, this is
They do.
this has really become a go-to for a lot of folks. Cheers.
yeah.
Awesome
guys.
stuff.
I love it.
Oh yeah,
I love it a lot.
I do too. So
So which one's your favorite? Just kidding.
This guy.
So here's the hard thing. Every one of these beers is terrific, and they're different, like completely different taste and profile on all these, man. And the fact is, if you were coming to a beer festival, Ye Scallywag, for instance, you'll have a chance to sample each and every one of these.
Yep.
And if you happen to love them, you'll be able to get them, later
Yeah.
in the day.
You can buy pints of them.
Drink them all day long.
Yeah.
So that's going to be rad. So once again, the idea today was obviously to talk about Ye Scallywag coming up this Saturday. Tickets available right now. You can get all the info you need at 91x.com or scallywagsd.com. GA tickets, I believe there's a few VIP left.
Very few.
Very few though. So if you want the VIP ones, you got to roll with it. Get your tickets while you can. Last year's event, I think, sold out with the walk-up. So there's a thing in San Diego where people believe. This is a lesson from Beer X, everybody. People believe that you can just roll up at any time and get a ticket for these things, and sometimes that is the case. But for instance, back in August at Beer X, that wasn't the case. There were people rolling up, and it was like, ooh, sorry.
Before gates even opened.
Yeah.
No, it was nuts.
Yeah.
So
It's a horrible feeling. I hate telling people sorry.
yeah.
Bye.
So right now, though, at this point, as this is happening, there are tickets available. Get them while you can. It's going to be a great day. Once again, incredible music. And, because this is a beer segment, I like to promote the beers. The music's a big part of it, but we really are stoked about the beer lineup. And, what's really cool about this is getting to know a lot of the craft beer scene here in San Diego and knowing the people that are doing it. A lot of people that we love are participating in this, but on top of it, if they weren't, this is an event they'd be at. As a fan of beer and as a fan of music. So you can do the same by joining us this Saturday for Ye Scallywag. It's going to rule. All right?
Indeed.
Yin, you with me? You with me?
Scallywag.
It's a Scallywag.
Yeah.
Cheers. We got some more left to drink, right?
Oh, come on.
All right.
I can help.
We're out. We'll see you Saturday. Ye Scallywag. It's going to rule.